everybody. Welcome to Squad Pod Sports. We're bringing our thoughts on the latest games and sports news around the sports world. Brought to you by the Sideline Sports Network. Man, what a big week in sports. A sad day in football as well. We have a lot to get to, but I mean, I don't know how we're going to get to everything with, the elephant in the room. The GOAT. Really. The GOAT
in the room. Exactly.
If you will.
But we'll try to cover as much as possible here.
Yeah, so I mean, of course we're going to talk about Tom Brady, announcing his retirement. Big Ben also announced his retirement for what it is. But I mean, Tom Brady, I feel like he hasn't even peaked yet. Like this dude had his best season ever. He
just had his best season. And like I feel like he went out. I know we'll get into this, but just a little tidbit, like I feel like he went out on top like this, even though he didn't win the Super Bowl, like almost in spite of that Max Kellerman cliff thing. Like he never fell off that cliff. He never did. He only got better. So like it's just
there was no cliff. Even there was no cliff. Like maybe there was no cliff.
Exactly. This dude still mad about that.
Well, we're gonna talk about Tom Brady because we have a lot. There's so much. He's the GOAT. To unfold. We'll talk about the conference championship games and how nuts those games were. How amazing some of the best football these past couple weeks we've ever seen.
Exactly.
And then our breakdown. I mean, we'll have like 2 weeks here to do the breakdown for the Super Bowl. So we'll get a little bit into it today, but mostly next week leading up to it. So when we're really going to get into it. Right. And of course, the NBA hot and not NBA news, and then the bias bubbles, crazy sports fact of the podcast. But yeah, man, Thomas Edward Brady, I can't even imagine, like, because I told you before the podcast, I'm feeling a little sad about it, and I can't imagine how you're feeling.
I think it hits me less because I already lost the man. You know what I mean? I went through this 2 years ago. I was like, oh my God, I don't have Tom Brady anymore. You know what I mean? So I've already almost kind of been prepared for this, like in a way. It sounds weird, but like I'm at this point, I wanted him to retire. For the last 2 years, just retire, man. Like, don't go on to build a legacy of another team. You know what I mean? Like,
it sucks that like
years.
Adam Schefter and all that leaked it last week. And Tom just, he even had a statement about it, saying like he was just trying to chill, to relax on the weekend, and then had to deal with this. Because I feel like it would have been even more special with him announcing it and, maybe post a video or something. But man, it's crazy. After, 22 years.
Yeah. He's the GOAT.
He's the GOAT. I mean, seven-time Super Bowl champion, more than any team in the NFL. Just one dude has him. 3-time NFL MVP, 6-time Pro Bowl, 6-time All-Pro, NFL all-time passing touchdown leader, NFL all-time passing yard leader, and most career wins, 243.
Bro, man. He's first in Super Bowl wins, Super Bowl appearances, Super Bowl MVPs, Pro Bowl selections, games started, playoff games started, QB regular season wins, QB playoff wins, pass completions, pass yards, pass touchdowns, playoff pass completions, playoff pass yards, playoff pass touchdowns, game-winning drives, and fourth-quarter comebacks. He is first in every single one of those categories. And
he's going to be for the foreseeable future.
And that's the thing about it, too. Like, the playoff wins alone, I think he's at, like, 35 or 34 or something like that. 35. And second place is 16. And it's, like, Joe crazy. Montana. And then, like, 13 with Terry Bradshaw. Like, so, like, that is the quarterbacks that are even close to him. Old-ass quarterbacks. So, it's records that won't ever be touched in a long time, like very long time.
And I mean, we mentioned it this year. He had a career year. He had career highs in yards and completions, and then he led the NFL in yards and touchdowns, which is even like this dude hasn't even begun to peak.
Exactly. So I feel like he could have played another year or two at this level still, but he's stepping away right now and just doing it more or less on his own terms. He's not getting forced to retire. It's not a contract thing. Like, it's not an injury. He's just like, you know what? I'm just
even though, like, as far as, like, playing, like, with the team, they didn't go as far as they wanted. Obviously want to go win the Super Bowl. But, he did, like, he went out on top, proving that he's still at the, like, tip top, the best of his abilities. Like, that's the best way to go.
I really hope, and I don't know if they will or not, but I really hope they give him the MVP this year, just to like throw him out.
I totally agree. Give it to him.
Tied for first all time with the NFL MVPs with 4. So I would love to see that, man. Just give him the MVP. He deserves it.
we've been, harping Brady for MVP for a while now. Everybody's talking about
Exactly.
Aaron Rodgers, but man, it's been Tom Brady
all season, with less than Aaron Rodgers has had. So
yeah,
I would like to see him win MVP. As a
yeah,
Patriots fan, like obviously you see me wearing this jersey here. Now I feel okay wearing this jersey. This dude is not a Buccaneer anymore. He's a former
exactly.
NFL.
Now you can bring it back.
Exactly. He's a former NFL quarterback now. Six-time Super Bowl winner with the New England Patriots. Yeah, I know you won one with the Bucks, but you won 6 with the Patriots. Okay, so
Yeah.
forever, I don't care. Anybody says I don't want to see him in no Wizards jersey whenever ESPN talks about him 5 years from now. You know what I mean? I mean
Yeah.
the Bucks jersey by that. I don't want to see that picture of Tom Brady on ESPN. You better put him in this jersey. Okay, that's all I got to say about that. Put him in this jersey. That's where the work was done.
And I'll tell you, it was weird, at least on Twitter today, seeing all these posts of him in Patriots gear, because I'm so used to seeing it in Tampa Bay gear now. So it's like, damn, that did happen. I forgot.
That did happen.
That did happen. But Tom Brady's been in 12.7% of all the Super Bowls in history, which is nuts.
He almost has a 50% rate of reaching the Super Bowl because he played 22 years and he played in 10 of them. So he almost went 50%. Like, it's a coin flip whether or not he gets to the Super Bowl every year. It's ridiculous, bro.
And it's even like we already mentioned all these crazy things. And on top of that, he has an undefeated record against 5 NFL teams: the Patriots, the Bucks, the Falcons, the Vikings, and the Cowboys. He's undefeated.
Wow. I didn't know that.
5 of those teams. Yep.
Interesting.
5 teams have never beaten Tom Brady.
That's all right. I mean, he's the GOAT for a reason, bro.
He is, man.
He is the Michael Jordan of the NFL.
Absolutely. And I know this is going to be a hard question, but what is like your favorite Tom Brady memory for you? I know you may have 6 of them.
I really do have a ton, but my favorite of all time.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. This might change, but I'm gonna say for right now, my favorite Tom Brady moment, my most memorable moment, is 28-3. Like, and I know that's recent, but that right there, like, and it's because of the 15 years prior. The 15 years prior to that, I never thought like that we were out of that game. I was like, like we still got Tom Brady. Like, and like I'm sitting there like the whole time. You guys were there with me. Like, I'm sad, but I'm like, we got Tom Brady. Like, we're not out of it. You know what I mean? Like, and to see him like methodically just go down and it happened. Just everything, all the 2-point conversions, like the overtime, just amazing. It was the best Super Bowl I've ever seen as far as like my entertainment, not like skill wise, you know what I mean? But it was amazing.
Yeah. I mean, you even saw that here this year a lot. Like, they'd be down and then Tom, brings them right back, to get the dub. He almost did it here in this last game when they were eliminated there. He almost got it.
He has 51 fourth quarter comebacks, which is first.
That's nuts.
67 game-winning drives, which is first.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous, man. This dude was a cheat code.
Yeah, a human cheat code.
For 20 years.
I would probably say, that's probably one of the best memories I can think of is watching that Super Bowl, the 28-3. If I had to pick, it would just be, Eagles versus Patriots both times. Whether like not even the one we won. I'm talking about both Super Bowls, the one we lost and the one we won. Just because, they were both very good games. It came down, to, the Eagles had to make that drive at the end of the first time, and they weren't able to do it. But they were such great games, and Tom Brady was there for both of them, so it made the second one even more sweeter, much sweeter. But I don't know, man. It's just the games. I get excited every time we're like, all right, play Tom Brady. Even like going into this one against the Buccaneers this year, I was like, I hate it because I know we're probably gonna lose, but oh man,
but
Tom Brady, it's always exciting. It's always exciting.
Tom Brady coming to town, so, and I got to see that for the first and only time this year. Tom Brady
makes it look so easy too. Like
he
whenever
came in week 4, man, to Gillette Stadium, and he ran down the field and did the "Let's Go" scream that he used to do for the last 20 years, and like the fans went crazy, and it's a whole different atmosphere when he's in the building. And now he's gone. We lost the end of an era, the end of our era of quarterbacks.
Yeah. And as we mentioned before, Big Ben retired as well.
Yeah.
Which,
Sorry, Lara.
I mean, they both have something in common where they haven't had a losing season at all, pretty much their whole career. But I mean, Big Ben, he did have 2 Super Bowls. He had a decent career.
He
But
had
this
a
is the
Hall
GOAT
of
we
Fame
talk about.
career.
He had a Hall of Fame career.
Big Ben will be in the Hall of Fame, but Tom Brady will have an award named after him one day. That's how good Tom Brady was.
Guaranteed.
I read an article today where they were talking about
he could because
he's the well, yeah, he's definitely gonna have a statue, but he might have a Lombardi-esque trophy for him one day. You know, like the Larry Hunt trophy. Like they name trophies. I was reading an article today where they were saying if they ever give out a quarterback wins trophy, you know, whoever has the most wins, you know, it would be called the Tom Brady trophy because he just wins. That's all he does is win, man. It's just ridiculous.
I totally agree.
Mm-hmm.
But is there anything else you want to add as far as Tom Brady, man? Because I know there's so much to talk about. You know,
no, I'm actually
depressed.
More of a bias bubble.
Okay, I'm actually kind of depressed that you know, usually weekly we had some crazy thing about Tom Brady. You know, something new that he did.
There was always something new.
I was looking forward to like, you know, going to talk about Tom Brady again this episode.
You used to say that too. You're like weekly Tom Brady news, and he's broken this record this week or so. You know what I mean? Like just, oh man, it's gonna be tough.
So you know, hopefully he's doing something, you know, that'll get him in the news here. You know, hopefully not bad.
Hopefully not bad, but maybe we see him on like TV or something.
That we see him around. Yeah.
Right.
So I mean, we'll get right into these crazy conference championship games, man.
Mm-hmm. 2 amazing games and
2 amazing games.
They were only 2, so we picked who we picked. But so far, you were 8-4 in the playoffs here, and I was. Oh, I'm sorry. You were 7-3 in the playoffs here, and I was 5-5. So going into this week, you had a better record than me here.
Yeah, I mean, I think we both. Did you pick the Bengals in this one, or we both picked the Chiefs, didn't we?
I almost did, but I picked the Chiefs. We both picked the Chiefs. So
yeah, we both picked the Chiefs.
The Bengals and the Chiefs. This was an amazing game.
Amazing game.
And it was a Tom Brady-esque moment for Joe Burrow there.
After like the second quarter and a half, 2 quarters.
People fall asleep. They're like, Chiefs up 21-3. Oh man, this is over.
Easily.
This is over. And then they could only muster 3 points in the second half.
Let off the gas.
I don't understand it. I don't understand it because it wasn't all Joe Burrow. You know, like Joe Burrow did exactly what he needed to do to get them back in a position to win this game.
Absolutely.
But the Chiefs collapsed, man. The Chiefs absolutely collapsed.
Yeah, and I saw it mentioned a couple times is what kind of did them in, especially towards the end. They were trying to play the clock there when they were down in the red zone instead of trying to just win the game. You know, they were just trying to get the clock down, you know, so the Bengals couldn't come back and score and win. And that was their downfall. You know, Pat Mahomes getting sacked multiple times and
running around like 100 yards per play. Like, it was ridiculous some of the times. I'm like, he doesn't look like a fifth-year starter right now. He looked like Justin Herbert running around out there or something, you know, like in a playoff game. It just didn't look like Pat Mahomes in a playoff game to me.
Cool, calm, and collected.
Right.
The whole time. And he did there in that quarter and a half, first 2 quarters, but
Joe Burrow did, man. This dude, I
can't believe this.
Can't give him enough credit, man. He did exactly what he needed to do. He threw the ball to Chase. He threw the ball to T. Higgins. He got the victory, and now this dude is going to be playing in the Super Bowl in his second season.
Is he the new Tom Brady? Because this dude just coming in the league. He's about to run this like the AFC North here.
It's like a passing of the torch. Everybody thought it was going to be Mahomes. Maybe it's not. You know, maybe it's not going to be Mahomes. We'll see what the future holds. But Joe Burrow, Super Bowl berth, brought the city of Cincinnati back. You know, doing it for Harambe.
I mean, T. Higgins had 100 yards in that game. Jamar Chase had a touchdown, but he actually didn't have 100, which was surprising. He was getting double teamed a lot though, in that game. But yeah, Pat Mahomes, he had 2 picks. 2 picks, man, not good.
It wasn't good. And like the second one, I like the weird irony of 13 seconds into overtime, he threw that pick. You know, it just dealing with the Bills.
But that's the thing. We thought it was going to happen the same way we saw it last week against the Bills. You know, we thought overtime, Chiefs won the toss. It's over. Like,
there's my argument right there. They're like that I was having with you not like with you last week, but like my side of what I thought about the overtime rule.
Yeah.
Look, they took advantage of it the first time. The second time, the same thing happened. They got the coin flip, and the defense won the game. Like that's why I think do not change the rule, because it's possible. Now, what's the record now? 11-2. I know it's like really high percentage.
That's probably it, because I think when we mentioned before it was like 10-1.
Exactly. Yeah. So then it's 10-2 now. So it kind of made it a little bit more, you know. But like that's to my point right there. It's just give it more time. We haven't had too many overtime playoff games, you know, over the last since they made the rule change. So I know what the percentages say, but this is why I don't think the rule should change, because the defense stepped up and did exactly what they needed to do.
Yeah, and I mean, we talked about it last week, but like it's crazy how all these games in these playoffs have come down to just like a field goal or overtime. You know, it's exactly, they've all been amazing games.
Yep, every single one of them have been one possession games since the division round.
Yeah. So I mean, congratulations to the Bengals. And nobody was expecting this, especially after the first two quarters. But everybody was kind of picking the Chiefs going into this one. But man, it's going to be a lot of pressure going in the Super Bowl. And I mean, if anybody can do it, Joe Burrow can do it for them Bengals.
Yeah. Let's see, man. We'll see.
On the opposite side here, we had the NFC Championship game, the 49ers and the Rams in this one. Jimmy G just could not get it done for these 49ers.
Jimmy G is not going to be a 49er next year.
No, and that's some news we'll talk about here when we get to the news after we do the breakdown of this game. But it's certainly looking like it, and it proved it. It seems like we talked about it before, how he always somehow just falls apart whenever it's crunch time. They have to go down and get the win or something. Something always happens.
0 points in the fourth quarter for him, man. They went into it with a lead. They had a 10-point lead in this game, and he couldn't hang on to it. Matt Stafford, Cam Akers had a decent game there, but of course, Cooper Kupp, two touchdowns, 142. Give this man the MVP award. For
real.
When's the last time
if it's not Tom Brady, give it to Cooper Kupp.
Yeah, I don't want to see Aaron Rodgers win it. Like, I love Aaron Rodgers and everything, but like, I don't want to see him win the award. I want to see Cooper Kupp or Tom Brady win this award this year, because they deserve it.
And Odell, he had over 100 yards as well. I mean, but yeah, Cooper Kupp, he saved the day with that, those touchdowns. Matt Stafford, he played. I mean, he did have a pick, but he was able to get the job done. He was able to make those tough throws downfield. Matt Stafford, man, just like Tom Brady last year, went to a new team. Now he's going to a Super Bowl, and then he gets to play at home.
Exactly.
Super Bowl.
55 years of that never happening,
and then
it happens twice in a row. Like, okay. If you
and now it makes Detroit look like fools. Look at you. You wasted all these years with Matt Stafford.
We didn't need this to know that Detroit was a fool and wasted Matt Stafford's career. And it's nobody's fault but Detroit's and Matt Stafford for re-signing there whenever he had a chance to get the f out of there. So
true.
It is what it is. But we didn't learn nothing new about Detroit. We know they're terrible, but with their new coach, we'll see what happens. We didn't think they were going to win a game this year. They ended up squeaking out a couple.
Yeah, that they did. And I mean, the story for the 49ers at least was, Debo being Debo. Doing Debo things. He's looking like one of the, the best wide receivers / running backs in the game.
Yeah, exactly. All-purpose yards, man. He can do whatever you need him to do. And to see him so emotional after the game made me sad because
Odell went up, talked to him.
Exactly. He's out there giving everything he has, trying to win. He even had that post after the game about came up short, but Debo did everything he could. I know he only had 72 yards, but he had a touchdown. He had 26 on the ground as well. He just he did his best, man. He really did his best.
Yeah, and I mean, just like that, it ends for the 49ers. They're going to, go back to the drawing board, see what they can do, see if they're going to get rid of Jimmy here and then move on.
Right. Yeah.
But that leaves us with a Bengals and Rams Super Bowl.
Who would have thought?
Who'd have thought? I mean, we thought about at the beginning of the season that maybe it was possible for Matt Stafford to take the Rams to the Super Bowl, but but definitely not the Bengals. They had 4 wins last year. Nobody expected this team to go to the Super Bowl.
Exactly. I thought the Bengals were going to be all right, but I didn't think they were going to be like this. There's no part of me that thought they were going to be anywhere near this good this year.
Oh, no way. Not at all. But, just like the Super Bowl, and the rest of the season, it was unpredictable. It seemed like something crazy was happening every week. There was some weird game, some terrible team beating some, one of the contenders that had a chance at a Super Bowl. But who knows? I'm excited to see what happens next year. It seems like all these older quarterbacks are leaving now. So who knows?
Yeah, they are. Our era of quarterbacks are gone. They're all gone.
Yeah.
Every single one. Philip Rivers is gone. Eli's gone. Rivers is gone. Drew Brees is gone. Tom Brady's gone. Roethlisberger's gone. Like, they're gone.
Then I'm sure Aaron Rodgers only got a couple more years if he doesn't retire after this year.
He may as well retire this season, man, because like I said, that's it. He's the last of a dying breed right there. Yeah. I didn't even think about Aaron Rodgers. I guess he's the only one left. Like, because Kirk Cousins, I want to consider like one of those like veterans like that we had, when we were younger type of shit. He's kind of middle of the pack. Same with Russell Wilson. He's middle of the pack. Like, he's still considered kind of like a newer school type of quarterback, even though he's maybe 9-10 years in the league. But still, you know what I mean. So he's like middle of the pack, middle of his career. Aaron Rodgers, end of his career. Tom Brady, end of his career. Roethlisberger, end of his career. So all these quarterbacks that are leaving are going to be in the Hall of Fame, though.
Oh yeah, definitely. So I mean, it's going to look different here in the next couple of years. All these youngins taking over. It most certainly is. It most certainly is. So we'll go right into some other NFL news here. The biggest, that's hitting the NFL hard, other than Tom Brady retiring, man.
Yeah.
Brian Flores is now suing the Giants and the NFL, stating, apparently they gave the job to Brian Dabble before they even interviewed him for the Giants. It seemed like they were just giving him an interview because they had to at that point. Just
because of the Rooney Rule there.
Yeah, the Rooney Rule. And apparently that was, posted with leaked, his screenshots of text messages with none other than Bill Belichick.
Of course, Bill Belichick gets wrapped into this shit somehow, even though he's innocent and everything. He's just kind of a pansy.
A lot of people are speculating, Bill's a smart dude. Did he do this on purpose for some reason? To
help Brian Flores?
Help Brian Flores, but maybe screw over the Giants a little bit, frame the Giants, get over on the NFL a little bit for, messing them over with Deflategate and all these years and stuff.
Oh, I fucked up. Sorry. That was another guy. Sorry. That was my fault.
I meant to send this to Brian Dabble, not you, Brian Flores. Sorry.
Sorry. It's like, okay. So my dog had the phone. He was, I couldn't.
But I was like, Bill Belichick. Oh my gosh. I don't know, man. It makes you think though, because Bill Belichick's smart too. But maybe just another old dude don't know how to use a cell phone.
That's what I was thinking too. Is he is gonna be 70 this year. Think about he's texting Brian, whatever his name is, the other one, not Brian Flores.
Dabble,
congratulations, man. We were talking to Brian Flores the whole time. That is
Brian
equally
Flores
as possible as him doing it on purpose. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I got my interview on Tuesday. What do you mean? I hope I get the job.
Oh my God, man. Who knows? We'll never know.
But,
I mean, maybe something will come out in this lawsuit, but it's so crazy.
Not only that, but he also came out and said that, the owner, Stephen Ross of the Dolphins, was offering him $100,000 for every Dolphins loss in the 2019 season just to tank.
Yeah.
So, which is, man, if that's true, holy hell, that could be big. Dolphins, I don't know if they would make him sell the team, but you're going to lose some draft picks. You're going to be getting fined a ton of money.
Yeah, because that's almost in a way rigging things, fixing things. You're paying someone to make sure that this is the outcome of the game. Whether it's your team or not, that's big, man. That's big.
Yeah, and then
proving it more or less here, if he could do that.
Yeah, and then on top of that, this doesn't end. He said that in an interview he had with the Broncos a couple years ago, John Elway showed up an hour late, and apparently he was it seemed like he was disoriented and hungover.
Yeah.
For their interview, and it was also what he called was a sham interview, where it was just to interview him because they had to interview him type thing. They already had the decision in place.
Just had to on the rule there.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't know if you saw, but Brian Flores actually released a statement, which is actually pretty. It's his quote here is, "God has given me a special talent to coach the game of football, but the need for change is bigger than personal goals. And making a decision to file a class action complaint today, I understand that I may be risking coaching the game that I love and that has done so much for my family and me. My sincere hope is that standing up against systematic racism in the NFL, others will join me to ensure that positive change is made for generations to come." So he's even like, I don't care if this affects my coaching, in the future.
Colin
Like
Kaepernick type of stuff
this needs
right there.
exactly. This needs to be taken care of. And if it seems like from just going through Twitter, there's a ton of players that are standing by Brian Flores.
Yeah.
Who knows what's going to happen, with this whole thing. He blew the doors off this.
Pretty crazy that this happens 2 weeks before the NFL's biggest game of the year. Like, you know what I mean? He just was pissed off about this whole Giants situation and just went with it, so it's just bad timing for the NFL. I don't think he waited until now specifically. That was just bad timing for them.
I agree. And another thing that's bad timing, on top of that and the news we just mentioned, the Broncos put their team up for sale today.
Yeah.
So not only that, but this news about, Brian Flores having an interview with the Broncos and not being taken seriously, and they're going to be part of this investigation for a team that's up for sale. I don't know anybody is going to want to buy that team and deal with that right now.
The only good thing about this, and I know it does involve some Patriots, but this does not have anything to do with New England. And it is so refreshing to have a big ass scandal like this have nothing to do with my team.
Just Bill Belichick. That's it. That doesn't have anything to do with the Patriots team itself.
But is this what it feels like to not be in the news whenever this type of thing happens? Because I don't know what this feels like. I'm just a spectator in all of this. We don't got to deal with any of this. That's my biggest takeaway from this. And like I said, I know it involves Bill Belichick, but he didn't really do anything. So hey.
I'm just sending an innocent couple texts.
I'm just eating popcorn, trying to see how this unfolds at this point.
That's how we've been for all these years. While you dealing with your stuff over there, New England.
Every year, something.
And this, coming back circle to the Jimmy G thing. Bleacher Report posted that Jimmy Garoppolo and the 49ers are working on finding a trade partner already. Already, and it's worth noting that Jimmy G's no trade clause was only effective this past off season. So if they wanted to, they could trade him anywhere they want anytime at this point.
But they're going to try to work with him.
It seems like they're going to work with him at this point. But it didn't take long at all for the 49ers to be like, all right, Jimmy, you're not our guy. We're going to trade you somewhere else. Couple days. Yeah. It didn't take long after that
couple days, man. They already know what direction they're going in then, clearly. Shanahan knows exactly what he wants to do. He wants to go with Trey Lance, get some good pieces for Jimmy, who's an NFC quarterback. He's won the NFC championship once.
Yeah.
He's been to it again here. I know we shit on him all the time, but Jimmy G is a game manager. He's got a great winning percentage as far as that goes, so he can help out a Minnesota, something like that. Imagine him in Minnesota,
Washington, something like that. Who knows?
Something like that, man. Because I don't know what's going to happen here, but
I see him starting somewhere.
Absolutely.
Tampa.
Who
knows?
For real.
But yeah, the next thing here, I'm going to leave that just because I don't know if you have that or if you're biased bub or anything like that.
Okay.
But the NFL awarded, they're putting $1 million in for studies on how cannabinoids can impact pain management in players. So they may be using, marijuana and, the cannabis properties to, start helping these players through physical therapy and, just treating them throughout the season, which would be pretty cool.
Good. Excellent. It's long overdue.
Long overdue. And we got some Doug Peterson news. He's been silent for a while here now. He actually is getting his second interview with the Jaguars. It was looking pretty bleak. It looked like they were going to be hiring somebody else. But it's looking like they bringing Doug Peterson in for a second interview.
Interesting.
And a couple days before that, he actually had an interview with the Saints for their head coaching job.
We still have this up here. Jags coaching. Doug Peterson, head coach. Matt Nagy, offensive coordinator. Let's see if it happens, but
look out for it. I don't see Matt Nagy getting a head coaching spot anywhere.
No.
At this point. So yeah, offense, and he's good friends with him, so that explains it.
Yep.
I can see it happening if he gets the job.
Kind of unfolding, so we'll see. We'll see where it goes from there, but we'll be reporting on it.
Yeah, absolutely. The Vikings are flying in Jim Harbaugh for an interview here. And he apparently he thinks his chances are pretty good at getting the job. So it's looking like he may be the Vikings coach here going into next season.
Good. That means Michigan's going to go back down to the crap that they were the last 10 years, and we'll be fine. It took him all this time to build this program up to leave. Just ridiculous. Ridiculous.
And then into some bad news that I know you don't want to talk about. The Raiders hired Josh McDaniels as their next head coach, leaving the Patriots. And they also hired the Patriots director of player personnel, Dave Ziegler, to be their new GM. So seems like they're trying to bring the Patriot way to Las Vegas.
They could try, but it's never been replicated before.
It never has. It never works
All these coaches leave and all of them fail because they're outside of Bill Belichick's umbrella. Okay.
The only decent one you could probably say is Vrabel. You know.
Yeah, that's about it. That's the only one that hasn't crashed and burned yet.
Yet.
But I hope this Josh McDaniels thing is just like a temporary pit stop. He goes
just waiting his time.
He's just gonna go over there, coach there for a couple seasons, kind of
Kraft is like, we'll be waiting for you. We'll keep the light on.
We'll keep the light on. As soon as Bill Belichick's gone, you'll be the first person we call. And now he's gonna go get some head coaching experience, even though he has a little bit from Denver, but we know that was terrible. He's gonna go get some more head coaching experience. By the time he comes to us, he'll already be a dignified head coach. So this is okay. This is just a pit stop. Robert Kraft paid for his training. You know what I mean? Go.
And that's what I was just about to say. He's getting his training, he's getting groomed for it.
Yes, exactly. So this is all according to plan, okay?
The Colts are planning to interview Jim Schwartz as their next defensive coordinator.
Oh my God. Okay. When you finish that sentence, it felt a lot better.
Well, yeah, Frank Reich's still the head coach.
I was going to say, do not bring this dude in for any time. I forgot about Frank Reich for a second. I was just.
You're like, wait, no.
Yeah. Oh God. As soon as you started saying Jim Schwartz or anything about being hired, I was having flashbacks. I hate this. He's being
interviewed for defensive coordinator. I'm pretty sure he was an assistant with the Titans this past year.
Yeah. Why did he leave y'all?
I don't know.
Just part of the.
Well, he said he was going to take a year off, like Doug, but then he took an assistant job with the Titans. My guess is he didn't want to be part of a rollover, a rebuild type thing.
Yeah,
that's my guess. They brought in a bunch of young dudes, and it's looking like we're probably going to be losing Jonathan Gannon as our defensive coordinator. He might be the next coach for the Texans. Yeah. So who knows? Which I'm cool with that. So, but we mentioned. With the lawsuit and everything, we didn't really talk about the actual hiring. But the Giants hired Brian Daboll, the Bills offensive coordinator, as their next head coach.
Congratulations. You're still going to be terrible.
You're still going to be
terrible.
Now
you got to deal with all of this. So good luck.
Yeah. Good luck with that. The former Colts defensive coordinator, Matt Eberflus, is being hired as the head coach of the Chicago Bears.
Mm-hmm.
So that's pretty cool. And the Broncos hired Packers offensive coordinator Nathaniel Hackett as their head coach as well. A lot of hirings going on here.
Yeah. Positions being filled up, man.
Exactly. Before the Super Bowl even happens, you getting a good head start.
Yeah.
Steelers GM Kevin Colbert is stepping down after the draft, per Art Rooney. So the Steelers are losing pretty much everybody in the office except for Mike Tomlin.
Just Mike Tomlin, man.
and their starting quarterback.
And he's not going anywhere. He's sticking around. That's his team. They're gonna give him all the.
Yeah. So they lost their GM. They lost their defensive coordinator. They lost a couple other people in the front office. Starting quarterback. It's not looking good for the Steelers. They're fully rebuilding. It looks like
they'll be okay in the long run.
Yeah, I can see that. Dan Quinn has removed his name from consideration for any head coaching jobs. He's sticking around with the Cowboys. Apparently, they're working on an extension.
Good luck to you, Dan Quinn. You're not going to get any playoff wins there.
And no quarterback has won the Heisman, a national title, and the Super Bowl. And Joe Burrow has a chance to do it in 3 years, which is wild.
I hope he does it, man. I really hope he does. And I'm so torn. We'll get to our picks. but I'm so torn on this Super Bowl. I don't know who's gonna win.
And he also could join a list of the Joes. The only two starting QBs who have won a national championship and a Super Bowl, and that was Joe Montana and Joe Namath.
Mm-hmm.
Could be Joe Burrow here.
It's
Like
weird how
that's
things
some
like that
weird
work.
stuff. Like
Right.
now I expect it to happen. Like I could see that happening just to line up with that.
Right. Because it's all simulation.
It's all a simulation. But that's all the NFL news I have here. I don't know if you want to really talk about any like the Super Bowl stuff, or if you want to save that for next week. We can roll right into.
We could do like a quick, just early thoughts on the Super Bowl, like super quick early thoughts on it here.
Okay.
So, LA Rams, yeah. Cincinnati Bengals. We already said it's going to be the second year in a row that you have a home team playing in the Super Bowl, which is kind of crazy. The tickets are astronomical. I'm pretty sure like the cheapest
like 6,000.
6,000, 5,000, something like that for the cheapest. So
nuts.
It's ridiculous. Once again, I am not going to the Super Bowl. maybe one year I'll be able to go, but not this year. Okay. But what do you think? Early thoughts. Rams, Bengals. I'll tell you what my brain thinks quick and what my heart thinks quick. Okay.
Okay.
My brain thinks that LA is stacked, built for this moment. They were literally constructed for this moment.
They have no draft picks until like 2026 or something.
If they do not win this game, I don't know what's going to happen to them within the next 2 to 3 years there. But
I agree.
I think they are the better team overall, built for this moment, should win this game. But the football fan in me wants to see this underdog Joe Burrow come in here and wreck it. You know what I mean? Just throw 5.
And then you're going to get one of the hardest pictures ever afterwards of him chill with a big-ass stogie.
He's going to be
big cigar.
Chilling. The Super Bowl hat
with
on,
the Super Bowl
chain
trophy
on or something, like quoting Lil Baby. Like, it's going to be amazing if he wins the Super Bowl. Okay?
Oh, yeah.
That's all I got to say.
It could change NFL going forward. This really could change stuff.
Think
going
about
forward.
Everybody looking up to him the way they were looking up to Curry, type of thing, where Curry changed the style, like everything about like if Joe Burrow wins the Super Bowl and continues on this trajectory, it would be amazing. So I just want to see
passing the torch to Joe Burrow, and now we're gonna see Joe Burrow just run the NFL the next like how many years? We thought it was Pat Mahomes.
We thought it was gonna be Pat Mahomes.
Nope.
Thought it was gonna be Josh Allen. Nope. It's Joe Burrow coming in here, and then. There's even a harder picture of Joe Burrow's dad with Jamar Chase's
oh my gosh,
chilling, and they're both smoking cigars. So like, there's so much behind these Bengals that I want to see them win this game.
I do too.
I really want to see them win, but I don't know if I'll pick them to win the game. So
I agree.
We'll see what happens.
I feel like it's all set up and the momentum's there for them to win. You know, I think they definitely can. Now, I know. I pretty much I'm right there with you in every thought that you just said, and I think I know it hasn't affected them too much in the playoffs, but that O-line could come back to bite them.
Yeah,
that could come back to bite them. Like I know we talked to Alex. He mentioned about Tennessee, getting like 9 sacks on him. Since then, he's been pretty good with maneuvering. They've been kind of changing the offense a little bit to help him out. But you got Aaron Donald, you got Von Miller. Like you got a secondary that's gonna be covering your receivers.
You got Jalen Ramsey,
crazy,
blanket Jamar Chase.
Yeah, so I don't know, man. My
head's telling me the Rams are gonna win this game, but my heart,
I know. That Bengals defense are scrappy. Mm-hmm. I feel like they can somewhat they can slow down the Rams a little bit, unless, Cooper Kupp and Odell just start going off, then it's over.
Man, I don't know what's going to happen in this game. I have no idea.
I don't either. I hope it's a good game because, we've been building up. It's going to be hard to top any of these games that we just saw the past couple of weeks.
But we'll see what happens, man. But that's just kind of like a quick preview of what we think of the game.
We'll definitely get into it more next week here.
Mm-hmm.
We're actually trying to get into a couple of those Super Bowl week, press conferences. So we might have some content with there as well. We did that a little bit last year. We're going to try to do that again here this year to get into those press conferences. Maybe we'll do something special for the Super Bowl as well. We haven't really decided that at all.
Yeah.
But before we get into the NBA, I just have a small bit of news here. The MLB Major League Baseball and Players Association made little progress in their latest meeting, and a delay to the upcoming season is inevitable. Feels inevitable at this point.
Of course, the MLB going MLB, man.
Yeah,
they're just they're doing themselves in. They're gonna turn into an irrelevant sport, and it's just gonna be bad, man. I like the game of baseball, but the MLB is making it so hard to like the game of baseball. It's like I would almost rather go see a minor league game for the excitement of it and like my son having a great time, like, you know what I mean, that type of thing. Just the MLB, I have no interest in watching whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
But yeah, that's the only thing. I thought that was pretty interesting. But we can roll right into some NBA news. What's on your hot and not list this week, Vern?
Hot and not list. You know, with the NFL season dwindling down, we're getting more and more into the NBA here. You know, we got more time for the NBA. But number one team on the hot list should not surprise anybody because they are the hottest team in the NBA. The Phoenix Suns. They are on a 10-game winning streak right now. So 10-0 in the last 10 games.
These dudes got 40 wins.
40 wins.
Less than 10 losses, which is crazy.
It's ridiculous. But I got Golden State number 2, who's on a 6-game winning streak right now. They're 8-2 over the last 10. And then I had Denver, who's on a 5-game winning streak. They got a nice little thing going there, 8-2 over the last 10 games. And then the 76ers with Joel Embiid playing out of his mind right now, like kind of jolted himself back into the MVP conversation there. They're on a 5-game winning streak, 8-2 over the last 10. And then my honorable mention here is Cleveland, who's only on a 1-game streak, but they're 8-2 over the last 10 games. So they're doing what they need to do, man. They're a contender. They look like a contender.
They're the surprise of the season.
They are
Nobody
absolutely
expects the Cavs to be like this.
Right. But from a not list, okay, got Sacramento, 7-game slide, 2-8 over the last 10. No one's really expecting much out of them right now. Utah is a team that people are expecting things out of, but they're on a 5-game losing streak there. I know they got injuries that they're dealing with and everything. The one guy out for the rest of the season, it just came out. Joe Ingles, yep. But they're 2-8 over the last 10 games there. And then familiar face, we got Houston back on the list.
They back, baby.
They back, baby. They lost 4 straight, 3-7 over the last 10. So I'm always happy. It puts a smile on my face to write down Houston on this list here. And then OKC is my honorable mention here. They're on a 1-game winning streak, but they lost 2 of the last 8 games. So they're another team that's doing a rebuild. You know, see what happens there.
Yeah. Awesome, man. You actually kind of, broke the first news I had here. The Jazz forward Joe Ingles suffered a season-ending torn left ACL. And he's 34, man. So, I mean, I don't know if it's going to take a while for him to come back.
Game like basketball, man,
if he does
it's going to be hard to come back from that at that age.
Yeah. The Wizards are looking to move Spencer Dinwiddie here by the trade deadline, apparently. Apparently he's just not meshing well with the Wizards team.
Yeah, the Wizards aren't meshing well at all right now.
They started off so hot.
They did.
There's apparently incessant buzz around the NBA league and rumors circulating that Donovan Mitchell's circle, who believe he is too big of a star for Salt Lake City, and that he may want out eventually.
Come to the Lakers, please. Please come to the Lakers. We'll get rid of Russ. We'll get rid of him.
Apparently, a quote from an East scout said they're a first-round exit from Donovan being in New York.
New York? Who
knows? Like the Knicks, yeah.
Yeah, right. We'll see.
The Clippers had the second largest comeback ever the other night. It was against the Wizards. We were just talking about the Wizards. They trailed 66-31 in the first half, and they ended up coming back and winning 116-115.
Jeez, man, without Kawhi or Paul George.
Yeah.
That's impressive.
Very impressive. And speaking of the Clippers, the Clippers and the Miami Heat are among teams known to have interest in John Wall, should he become a free agent.
Okay. It's kind of aging. So
yeah,
he'd
be just depth for the Heat.
Right, exactly. That would probably be a better fit for him.
And then, as everybody knows already, they announced the NBA All-Star starters for the year coming up for All-Star Weekend. They also announced the Rising Stars, but there's a bunch of those. We're not going to go through that whole list.
Yeah.
But at least the starters we will. For the Western Conference, of course, you got LeBron James. You have to have LeBron James in there. Nikola Jokic, Steph Curry, Ja Morant is in there, well deserved. And Andrew Wiggins, the most controversial of
Very
the
controversial.
starter.
I don't necessarily disagree with it, but I think there are other players that do fit in there over him for a starter nod. But I think Wiggins he definitely deserves this attention. But Booker, come on now, like that's the one that should have been a starter, not necessarily Andrew Wiggins, but it is what it is.
Yeah, it is what it is. And then in the East, we got KD, Giannis, we got Joel Embiid, my boy DeMar DeRozan, and Trae Young.
Nice. I'm glad to see Trae Young make the list, man. The rest of them are kind of like, I know DeMar, this isn't really fifth. Too many for him. This is his fifth, that's still a good amount, but I like to see Trae Young get in there as an actual all-star starter. That's awesome.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to see who the reserves are here. So I'm sure that like Devin Booker and all them are going to be on the reserves. Like I would imagine. Yeah, so those get announced here, I think in the next couple of days. Because they just announced the Rising Star as we were recording here. But that's actually all the NBA news I had. Didn't have a lot of news. Okay. So we can roll right into our bias bubbles here, Vern.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'll start with my Patriots this week.
Patriots.
I just wanted to say thank you to Tom Brady. Okay. Thank you for all of the Super Bowls and the bragging rights that you've given me over the last 20 years.
Making you privileged fans.
Make me a privileged ass fan. And now, for the next 20 years, I'm going to be constantly disappointed because we're not going to ever repeat the success that we had with Tom Brady. So I love the fact that a once in a lifetime type of player, like he's the reason I like the Patriots type of thing. That I'm old enough that I was a little kid when Tom Brady was a Patriot. And he's this young gun out here in the Super Bowl and like I remember that as a little kid, and that he is the reason I like the Patriots. So I just want to say thank you to Tom Brady for all the great memories. I got a picture of the man on my wall. Regardless, I've always had that picture up there, even though I wouldn't wear this jersey. I had a Tom Brady picture up here the whole time. So always gonna be one of my favorite athletes. Thank you for all the Super Bowls.
Yeah, but, what a legend, man. I'm just glad we got to witness that,
Exactly. And I'm a Patriots fan, obviously, so I've seen all the Tom Brady documentaries out there, but I can't wait to watch the ones that come after this, because they're going to be a cumulative of his entire career. I've seen documentaries from 2011, 2012 talking about this dude being a Hall of Famer. You know what I mean? So he's really had 2 Hall of Fame seasons. Yeah, careers. I mean, 2 Hall of Fame careers. So I can't wait to see a full cumulative documentary on Tom Brady, like a football life type of thing.
Oh yeah.
But off of Tom Brady, young bull, young gun, Mac Jones got a Pro Bowl nod. Okay, he's in the Pro Bowl, baby. I don't know what happened if somebody dropped out or something, but now Mac Jones is in the Pro Bowl, and I hope he comes in here and balls. Just to be awesome. I know he's not going to start the game, but that would be so cool to see Mac Jones throw a couple touchdowns in the Pro Bowl here, man.
Yeah.
I'm just super excited for him. I'm glad he did well enough to get the nod. Just congratulations to Mac Jones. He's our future. I don't think he's going to be our next Tom Brady, but he's definitely our future. So I got to roll with Mac Jones as much as possible here. Yeah. And then I had McDaniels going to Las Vegas is just part of the plan, but we already talked about that there. And then for my Lakers, okay.
Oh, you didn't have the last thing. You didn't see that news?
What?
Oh, I'm gonna make your day, buddy.
What?
Tom Brady's gonna sign a 1-day contract with the Patriots.
What?
Yeah.
Are you serious?
Tom Brady is gonna sign a 1-day contract with the New England Patriots and retire with the franchise after 20 years. Apparently, he spoke with Robert Kraft this morning and is gonna go to Massachusetts.
Awesome. I can't wait to see that shit because they're gonna film that shit. Like him, there's gonna be my god.
They said that he's gonna fly to Massachusetts for a ceremony, so they're gonna have a ceremony for it. Everything.
Oh my god, that is the best news I got all day.
You can definitely wear that jersey because he's gonna retire a Patriot.
He's retiring a Patriot. That is perfect. And I was a little bit butthurt. I'm not gonna lie, I was a little butthurt when I read the big post that he had, and he mentioned nothing about New England, not a word about the Patriots or the Patriots fans or the coaches or Bill Belichick or Rob, nothing. And I was like, I was just very, I was a little.
That's coming up. He's saving that for the retirement ceremony for New England.
And then there was reports that coming out saying, oh, he didn't mention anything about New England, that he had that kind of post where he was like, oh, thanks, Pat Nation, love you all. And I was like, that's it. That's it. So to hear him retiring with the Patriots, that makes me very happy. And it means that he had more in store for Pat's Nation than what he did, So
yeah,
that makes me very happy. I'm glad that I didn't see that because that was a good surprise there.
Oh yeah, man. I saw that and got excited. Like, man, that's pretty cool. He's gonna come back and do that.
That's so cool. But it's not a bad news. Okay, not of the bad news. Lakers 4th place in the Pacific. 24-27. Not really doing too great right now. LeBron day to day. Knee swelling.
I did see that he's been out past couple games here.
They like to call it out. I like to say day to day, because you never know with LeBron. You never know. You never really know. But Anthony Davis also, came back and then instantly almost broke his wrist. So he's fine. He's actually day to day. He actually played last night. We lost to the Hawks, but Anthony Davis is back. We have Russ. We have Melo, and a hobbled LeBron. So. It really isn't looking too great for these Lakers.
You guys a couple games behind 500, and the Clippers above you a couple games too.
The Clippers are above us right now, so that's what I'm saying. We're one position out of last place in the Pacific here, so it's not looking great for the Lakers. Might be time for us to, I don't know, because I don't think they're going to restructure anything. I don't think we're going to make any crazy deals at the trade deadline here. It'll just be a rough second half of the year here. That's what I'm
probably
prepare myself for. I don't know if we make the playoffs. I don't know anything about.
You might have a pretty eventful off season too.
Woo, man, I'm not prepared for that. But we'll see what happens. I came into the season with a lot of optimism, but things play out the way they play out. But that's all I really have for my Lakers for this week here.
Okay. Talk about my Eagles quick. Brandon Brooks announces retirement. 3-time Pro Bowler, Super Bowl champion. Congrats to him on a nice career. Unfortunately he was injured, the past like 2.5 seasons, didn't really get to play much, called it a career. Luckily he restructured his contract, before peacing out. So he got some dough on the way out, but he's also helping with the cap, going forward. So, right. Big ups to him. We also have some people joining the Pro Bowl, like you said, mainly due to some injuries. Let me see here. Javon Hargrave, he's going in substituting for, who was it? Kenny Clark.
Okay.
So it's nice to see him in there. Josh Sweat is going to be in there as well. He's replacing Nick Bosa. And then we got Jake Elliott, who's going to be replacing Matt Gay, who's going to the Super Bowl. But I told you that was one of the snubs that I thought, and Jake Elliott's going to be in there because I actually have his stats here. He made 30 of 33 field goals, so he was 90.9% success rate, and then he was 44 of 44 for PAT kicks. Yeah. So, he was automatic, bro, and he had a career high 134 points.
He's been great all year, so he definitely deserves it.
Yeah, definitely. So the Eagles have 5 Pro Bowlers this season, and we made it to the playoffs. We got booted by Tom Brady.
Successful
season on a rebuild season. I'll take it.
Exactly.
Now for my Bulls here. We number 1 in the East again, baby. Even without Caruso and Lonzo, we got that number 1 seed back. And it's mainly because we have to outscore everybody because the defense is terrible without all these guys
out there hooping every game.
They just out here hooping. Zach's back. DeMar and him are just hooping. Vooch is grabbing all the boards. But we try to hold on to that number 1 seed because even if we start losing like 2 games, 3 games, we sliding down to the East.
Right.
That's how close it is.
5th or 6th.
Yeah. So that's how close it is in the East there. They're 32 and 18. The next one is Philly, and they're 31 and 19. So no, We mess up. We sliding. The Nets are actually down to the 6th seed right now.
Man, which they're when the records are close, but they gotta make sure they don't mess around and slip up too much there.
Yeah, I mean, with KD being out and like Kyrie can't play home games, there's a slide. And I mean, they're 29-20. They still have a decent record. But that the Milwaukee's rolling in front of them, Cleveland's rolling, Miami, Philly, Chicago's trying to stay afloat.
Right.
But all those other teams, they're going to keep gaining momentum while the Nets are kind of, stuck in the middle.
Just waiting for KD to get back.
Exactly. And it seems like he may not come back maybe till after All-Star break. So
yeah.
And the only other couple things I have here, apparently there's optimism within the team that Patrick Williams could actually come back for playoffs here. Okay. He missed all season pretty much. I think he played the first 8 games, and then got hurt with like a wrist injury, or I think he broke his wrist or something. But yeah, he could possibly come back, and that'll help us out. We need an extra power forward there.
Awesome.
And the last thing I have here is Ayo Dosunmu, our rookie, who has been hooping lately. He's been starting for the Bulls, with Lonzo being out. He actually made the Rising Stars game. So, I mean, it's cool to see, the rookie going out here. And he's a Chicago native. So, Chicago native playing for Chicago. He's out here looking like D-Rose.
Right.
But he's kind of like a Kawhi, too, because his defense is great, just being a rookie. So, it's going to be cool seeing him, learning some stuff from all these vets.
Yeah.
At the All-Star game.
Awesome.
But that's all that I have as far as my bias bubble here. So we go right into the crazy sports stat fact of the podcast. Cal Ripken Jr. here for the MLB. We talked about MLB a little bit. With no active player within 2,000 games of Ripken, the streak is untouchable with the most MLB games played. He played 2,632 consecutive games, Cal Ripken Jr.
Damn.
Over 16 years. And you may never see a player reach even half of his streak at this point.
Oh
with players, getting rest or, getting hurt. He has the longest streak in history.
Yeah, and that's just something that doesn't happen anymore, just like playing like that. That's old baseball, like you're saying. People getting rest. There's a lot more injuries
protecting the
nowadays.
Asset is what they call it, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, he played 2,632 straight games in 16 years.
That's crazy, man. That's awesome. That's a record, like you said. That's untouchable.
Untouchable. And I think that's pretty fitting, with Tom Brady. We talk about all these untouchable stats with Tom Brady. And I'm sure we'll keep talking about Tom Brady's stats,
Yeah.
I don't know if nobody's going to be getting close to him, though, for a while now. But
maybe 20 years from now, we'll be talking about somebody breaking his playoff record.
Maybe. It's quite possible.
But it's going to take a long time.
Yeah. And I mean, I'm sure we'll be talking about Tom Brady still, in some capacity,
right.
throughout the season. We
still talk about Johnny Unitas and Terry Bradshaw, Joe Montana. So Brady's going to be around for a while.
Exactly. And I mean, who knows what he has up his sleeve doing next. But that is the show for this week. Make sure to like and subscribe. Make sure to go. I just noticed this before I go on the outro. I went this whole show without mentioning my Nick Foles jersey that I wore, my Super Bowl jersey I had to thank Tom Brady for. I just noticed it going through in the outro. I had to mention it. I can't believe I didn't. I had to wear this.
I noticed you wearing it as soon as you hopped on. I'm like, wonder why he's wearing that.
I have to. I have to thank Tom Brady for the Super Bowl, and I know. I mean, it sucks that he couldn't beat Nick Foles, before he retired. And I know he never shook his hand, but it's okay, Tom. It's okay. But all seriousness, congratulations to the GOAT on his retirement. Make sure to like and subscribe. Check out all of our other content. Make sure to go follow us on Twitter at SquadPodSports and go check out at Sideline Sports as well with all of the great content they have there because there's a ton of shows to check out. And we do got some big news coming up here for you in the next couple weeks. So stay tuned for that. And we'll see everybody next week.
Peace.